be here. It's okay if this is on. I don't care. Andrew's not going to be able to make it tonight, and we've got Jared remote from his place.
Nice.
Shall
Hi,
I cue
Jared.
the music?
He just
go for
couldn't
it.
make the
How
long
convenient.
trip.
Play that and you.
Okay, I'm going to mute us.
Go your own way, stones and shadows white, willows whisper of darkness deep and wide. In the forest, there is no place to hide. Strange paths. Tonight I fear that I will not survive the dying of the light.
It's the Dying of the Light, a series from the Starfall Collective. The Starfall Collective is a collaborative storytelling group using the Dungeons and Dragons system as a vehicle for creating rich and compelling stories in a fictional world we've been developing together for a while. You can find out more about the collective as well as the stories we are telling at thestarfallcollective.com. We're back with a new episode. Let's find out once again who's in this episode. I'm Sir Robert, a father and entrepreneur and host of this series' story. With me tonight are a few friends playing the characters in this drama. Please say your name, something about yourself, if you like, and a brief description of what you're playing. Why don't we start with Jacob?
I'm Jacob Burbridge, and I am playing Talad, who is recently confuzzled, as it may, by the disappearance of one Neno.
That's right. Neno was the latest to fall predatory teleportation circle.
The
All
top of all food chains.
That's right. And how about you, Dwight?
Hey, I'm Dwight. I play Belvari, 16-year-old human, and he is, I can't really remember where his head is at, but he's mostly no longer worried so much about what's his name, Garriott, and more worried about the thing that Diamondback is carrying around.
Okay, fair enough. How about Toll?
Hello, I am Pat, and I'm playing Toll, the half-orc druid, and he's probably about to have to answer some questions since he encouraged, well, he didn't encourage her, he told her to do what she wanted. I don't feel like he did anything wrong, but others
Sorry, hold on
may
one second.
object.
Just 1 sec, Patrick. Sorry, go ahead. You're good.
Oh, I'm done.
Okay. Sorry, I was trying to audio check. And Patrick, you'll remember, if you think about it, that Toll was bringing up the rear with Neno carrying equipment, and at the very least, he was the only witness to what happened to Neno, depending on what one means by what happened to Neno. So, may or may not have to answer questions. We'll see. Great. How about Matt?
Matthew Talamini, a writer and web developer based in Providence, Rhode Island. You can find my stuff at matthewtalamini.com. That's Matthew, Talamini. MINI.com, and I play the shirtless wizard Diamondback, recently come into a heretofore unknown level of power.
Okay, and could you? That's great. And could you turn your volume up about 15%? Are you able to?
Yeah. Let me get this gain up a little bit.
There you go. That's
How's
better.
that?
Say something for me.
Hey, how is this? Is it okay? Is the gain better?
A little bit. It was better when your mic was closer.
Well, that mic.
Okay, how about that?
That's better.
Any better?
Thank you. Yep, that's good. And next, Yoshka, Jared. Wait, you're muted.
Hey, how's this for a volume level?
More volume.
Good.
I can't give her more cowbell.
Maybe get a cowbell and hit it a few times.
Can you put it closer to your face?
I guess so. Is that any better?
That doesn't
It's a
make much of a
headset mic.
difference.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I'll talk louder. Hopefully, it doesn't sound like a yelling tone.
Pretend
Jared,
that
are
you're
you sure
Jock.
that what we're hearing is coming from that headset microphone, that you've got that microphone selected? Because when you touched it and stuff, we didn't hear any kind of crackling or change in volume or anything.
Yeah, give it a couple of taps.
Well, that's a good
Yeah,
mic.
we can't hear that.
Okay.
I think you might have some other microphone selected.
Well, while he's doing that, Josh, how about you?
Hi, my name is Josh. I do software stuff too, like many other people here. And I play Inkatink, the Kinku, who has many voices but not one. And Inkatink, he has a lot of attachment, security, trust, and control issues stemming from the fact that his family has been murdered and he's lost them. And then the new family that he's got, he feels kind of a revolving door of frustration and betrayal from them at one level or another. Most recently, Yoshka, who was supposed to be leading the party faithfully, disappeared on him, and that was pretty upsetting, but at least he still had Nino. And then Nino disappeared under Toll's watchful eye, and Inkatink basically kind of lost it and ineffectually struck Toll somewhere around the midsection. Probably didn't even cause a single hit point of damage, and then promptly turned and flew off because I think his little brain just did not quite know how to process the conflagration of rage and frustration at the moment. So he should be showing back up at some point tonight, I suppose, and we'll see how all that shakes out.
Okay. And Jared, why don't you go next?
Can you hear me now? Is this better?
No.
No?
Maybe got worse.
Tap your mic.
Dang it.
On Riverside, you can't change the mic in the middle of the broadcast. So you might have to reconnect. I also have to do that because I just noticed that we're using the wrong mic. So give me 1 sec.
Okay, I will leave.
He's just the right temperature. It's gonna drop off really fast.
We're scoring pretty low points at the moment for party unity, geographically and otherwise.
Going to turn it all around real soon.
Gets everything.
All right. testing
Even the
1, 2, 3.
players, Yoshka
I'll
or
sound
Jared
louder.
is remote, and
Leaving us, yeah.
Hello,
Can
is
y'all hear
this
us now?
Oh,
this
much
good
better.
now?
You're good.
So much better.
Hallelujah.
Wait, I don't even think the microphone's doing anything.
Well, I can
We
hear
can
you
hear you and it's
saying
great.
I don't think the microphone's doing
Dang it.
anything.
Okay. But I can just talk like that, I guess?
No. Put your headset back on. Put your
Nope.
headset back on.
Turn off your phone.
No, flip it the other way. Your mic was doing good things.
Okay. Now is it doing bad things?
Now it's not using your mic anymore.
Did you get unplugged while you took it off your head?
So a little bit of pre-gaming, guys. Not for bad things, but just to let you have a sense of what's happening here. I'm going to let y'all, without Jared being here, you'll remember Jared is off gallivanting in the ether. But I'm going to let you all do a little bit of time here, but where I want to have a couple of events, see what happens with Inkatink, but we're going to go pretty quickly through, not like rushing, but through the next day or two, and just kind of see what's happening. What are your plans as you're getting back into this town? And then we're going to allide a little bit of time as you have done what you're planning to do. Downtime is what y'all were asking about. So we'll have a little bit of downtime. That mid episode, it'll start, and then we'll say this much time has passed. I'll let you know when that gets there. Jared, how you doing?
Can you guys?
Don't
Should I
make
turn
me
my
do
volume down at all?
Mm-mm.
You're great.
Computer.
You had to say hello.
Can
Okay.
he hear
If you
us?
could take a lap for me there, big guy, just 1 or 2 laps. Get the cardio going. All right, I don't want you doing D&D cold, okay?
All right. Jared, why don't you tell us about you? And Yoshka.
Hey, my name's Jared. I am playing Yoshka, a human bard, wayfarer, who, especially in large groups, is rather enjoyable to have around. He helps you sleep better. He gives consistently enthralling performances, and lifts the hearts of the beleaguered.
And how?
Good.
And his natural leadership ability is so needed.
Oh no!
You need to get in here and make Diamondback put a shirt on like 3 days ago.
Oh.
Let's go ahead and get started. Previously on The Dying of the Light, our intrepid adventurers made it to Miradau in 2 parts and have returned. At the end of the last episode, they brought the refugees from Miradau. Those of you who came in the last pass, which would be Toll and Neno, I will let you convey, if you like, to the others what you saw Garriott do right before you left Miradau. Did y'all know that? I don't remember if y'all heard that part.
I don't know, we heard.
Okay. So we'll let that be conveyed that way, if you like. You've got other things you can talk to them about. But what the party did was bring the refugees from Miradau into that big sort of auditorium room that has the teleportation circle in it. It's something like, sorry, my refrigerator is making some kind of crazy sound. It's something like a small amphitheater-sized room with a teleportation circle in the middle and a flat floor, but it's about 2 stories high, and so it's got that cage inside. It's a nice big room. There was room enough in there for all of the occupants of Miradau, including their pigs and belongings, which you told them stay inside while you did a little bit of scouting. Diamondback, Inkatink, Belvari, and Talid came telling you stories of terrible things in this town. They are doing a little bit of scouting and have had a plan to build a sort of encampment within the city out of the muck remaining from the bottom of the lake. They'll, slide and push it with their Shape Earth cantrips to try to build sort of like a rammed earth wall around a set of buildings within the city, within this little enclosed area. That was the plan that y'all had articulated. Inkatink and Diamondback went off exploring to go see something, to look for things, and they split up to go different ways. As they split up, Toll came through with the second group, and I guess Inkatink must have been flying or something, or had somehow was nearby and saw Toll without Neno, ran or flew up to Toll and gave him a good pounding in the chest, and then flew off. It's been a half an hour or so. One sec, I jump in a second. Just let me just get this last part. But it's been a half an hour or so. Here's the state of your encampment and the town that you know. Neither Diamondback nor Toll, you both come back after an hour. You report finding no threats in the buildings that you checked. Belvari was looking around, if I recall correctly, correct me if I'm wrong. Belvari was looking around for Teko and Lambril. You did not find them. There were footprints leaving the town in this sort of muck still, and all of your gear was in the sort of the kind of safe house that you had found, which is right next to it's sort of catty corner from across the street from the teleportation circle auditorium. Toll, you had been waiting inside the room, basically being a comforting presence, we hope, to the citizens of Miradau. So, it's been an hour. You're all back. You have nothing to report. Adina is gone. That's the stretched out girl who was being pulled towards Diamondback's focus. It's been an hour. You're all back together. Let's report what you have seen and make your plan. And Inkatink, sorry. Josh, you can jump in with whatever you want. Inkatink may or may not be there.
Yeah, so for the sake of dramatic irony, Inkatink was walking up as Toll was explaining what he said to Neno to Belvari, I believe. Was he talking to Belvari? Yeah. And so he heard Toll, by his own admission, say, yeah, I watched her walk off. I let her go off. I encouraged her to go off. Just something that conveyed that he was there. He could have done something, and he didn't. And so Inkatink, in a rage, struck him and flew off. I think Inkatink can only fly for 10 minutes. So probably he flew off for a while and then probably maybe realized more than 5 minutes in. And so he's trudged back on foot, and maybe it's taken him a little while. And so now he's kind of skulking around, climbing up the buildings and kind of looking around. And
is he brooding? Is he?
Yeah. So at this point, I think he felt really betrayed by Yoshka leaving in the middle of the tunnel, because he was right there and he begged him not to, and he grabbed him and shook him around. I was like, no, don't do this. And Yoshka still left. And so now Neno, probably the person in the party who he's most attached to in a protective way, because at one point in his life he had a little old halfling lady that was kind of his caretaker, probably the only person who ever really nurtured him for any period of time. And so he feels pretty attached to Neno because of that. And so he's very upset with Yoshka and Toll for abandoning the party, so to speak. So
okay, fair enough. But you're within earshot, say, of what they're discussing.
Yeah, he's probably back at the edges of everything, because as upset as he is, he also doesn't want to see anything bad happen to the residents of Miradau. And so he's probably, maybe at some point, Diamondback, while he's doing patrols, has even seen Inkatink slip around a corner. It's not like Inkatink has levels of ninja. I'm sure at some point Diamondback would notice him. So he's just kind of around sulking.
Okay. And so, yeah, and you've all returned now, you from wherever you were. Except for obviously not Yoshka. He's still off. Go. What's going on? Toll, what were you doing? Why don't we start with you?
I don't have any aims in particular. I mean, I would like to explain what happened to Neno, I guess, and I think Toll would remember what Garriott did before he closed it. But Patrick has forgotten, so would you remind me?
Do you remember that he used some components with apparent great difficulty to cause some effects in Miradau?
Oh, right. Yeah. He like overgrew it, right, and made it look.
Yeah, he caused an earthquake that destroyed the stone buildings of Mirdow and the little river stone type of stacked buildings, and then
Right.
overgrew it with growth.
Yeah.
But you may also recall it was an exceedingly great effort for him that he failed at several times to his own harm.
Does he look all right?
He was healed by
Okay.
his townsmen. So he's recovered, but in a sort of exhausted, weakened state. Not hurt, but he's bloodied and exhausted.
Right. Yeah, I feel like people would probably come up to Toll and ask him stuff. So I'm not gonna go off anywhere.
Okay,
I will allow them to ask what they want.
sounds good. Diamondback, Belvari, Talid are there, and then Katinka off to the side.
Belvari
So-
had gone following the footsteps of Tekel and Lambrel.
Mhm. Teco.
And Lambrel.
Mhm.
And when he got out of the city, he would follow him a little ways, but then he would also go and look for game to hunt
Mhm.
and try to bring something back for this large number of people.
Roll me, if you will, I'll give you a die if you want, or you can use.
Survive.
No, you know what? Tell me, roll me a perception check while you're looking around.
Just want to get my bonus. Perception. Okay. +3. How about an 11?
So, yeah, that's enough. As you go down, the part where you cleared this muck out of the street where you all have walked for a while, it's been some days. It's been a few days. And there appears to you to be the wrong amount of dryness. It's still flowing with quite a bit of water out of the opening of the city.
Okay.
It's like that's where it's escaping. So,
Is it
but
dangerous to walk through amount of water? Or
no,
just
but
irritating?
it's too much. It's a little off.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, it's not dangerous to walk through. It's puddles, but
Should be dry.
unless it just rained, which it doesn't look like it did, you're getting an unexpectedly large amount of water still draining out. So you're back. You didn't see any sign of Teco or Lambrel aside from their footprints going off to where the
Probably
water,
back
the ground was
towards-
no longer soft.
Oh, gotcha.
They seem to have traveled into the forest somewhere. If you'd like to roll a survival check, I'm happy for you to have spent your hour hunting, and I'll tell you something you can come back with if you have a good.
Nice. I will have proficiency. Does that mean anything?
It adds to your bonus.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Oh, a 7.
You weren't able to really catch anything useful.
One away from critical failure.
So Bovari's back, you come back as Toll is explaining that Neno's not with y'all anymore. Talid, you were inside with the folk of Mirdow. Did you come out for this meeting of your people, or did you stay in there with them?
I think I stayed in there.
You tell me what you would like to do. You hear them talking in the road. Do you want to say to the people, for example, like, hey, you guys wait here for a minute. I'm going to go find out if it's safe. Or do you want to stay in there with them and just find out whatever other guys talk?
Well, the area that he's in right now with all the people, it's like under the underground part where the portal is, right?
It's not underground, but yes, it's where
yeah.
the portal is. It's just a big room.
Yeah, I think he'll stay there in his before the murderous uncle.
Yeah.
He
It feels like a cave.
Yeah, he was very much a people person before that, so
Okay.
he'll stay there trying to comfort people.
Get to know them.
Yeah.
This will be the first time you've met any of them. The other party have met them, but
Yeah.
okay. So Diamondback, Belvari, Toll,
Yeah.
maybe you can continue.
If I hear Toll say that Nino's no longer with us, I mention also that Tekel and Lambrel are not with us. It looks like they headed off into the woods. And I didn't catch anything for us to eat. And then he stops talking.
At some
Thank
point,
you. Go.
Diamondback is going to, I don't know if call a meeting. We're probably in a meeting already.
Yeah, you've sort of gathered back in the street between the house and the portal. I'll call it an amphitheater, or I'll just call it the theater. So between the safe house and the
Are there right. So sorry, I should have thought this through better beforehand. Diamondback is going to try and get. I guess the inner circle, not
Mirado.
not the Mirado people, and not Garriott, but
The Mirado. Everybody from Mirado is inside the theater. That's the place with the teleportation circle. You all are standing outside that, just in the road, and you're halfway between the entrance to the theater and the entrance to your safe house.
Okay. So yeah, Diamondback is going to say, I have changed my mind. This is indeed a good place for us to stay. It will be excellent. And I think they'll notice because he hasn't been without it for a long time. I think, Sir Robert, that Diamondback does not have the skull anymore, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, so they'll see right away that he doesn't have that skull anymore. He's still got his staff, he's still got his knife, and you know, the flames and all that. But like,
Forgot that you had a skull.
Here's what you guys notice. Inkatink, you will see this because you're very detail oriented. Toll, I'll leave it to you to decide whether you would see it. Same with Belvari. Diamondback has gone out looking for, his scouting out. They were all scouting out, but he has returned. He gives a good report of the town, but he doesn't have the skull in his hand. The sort of yellow smoke dripping skull.
Yeah, the phylactery.
Focus. Yeah, the phylactery.
Gotcha.
He does not have that in his hand, and he comes and tells you whatever he just said, that he's favorably inclined towards this city after all.
Belvari would notice that, and he would say, "Where did you put the phylactery?"
the phylactery is in a safe place.
How far away from us is it?
Within half a mile.
Okay.
I think that we need not worry about it. One more question, Sir Robert. I believe we talked about this, but Diamondback does at least think that he has a way to save the spirit of the girl who's sort of trapped in between.
He does. He thinks he has a way to save the girl.
Yeah. So I'll say that the phylactery is hidden away in a safe place. I've used magical rites to ensure that it will not be able to harm anyone more. But however, I will need to encounter the spirit of the girl once more in order to return her to her body.
So there's not going to be a lich appearing near it?
I guess what Diamondback says to this is, you need worry about nothing.
Like I don't need to worry about a lich appearing near it? Are you waving your fingers and trying to make me not?
This isn't the lich you're looking for.
Yeah, Matt. Roll me a d20, and I'm going to look at your sheet and determine your bonus.
Yeah. This D20 Oh my goodness. That's a natural 1.
Okay.
Nice.
Roll me
That's a
another
1 on
D20.
the D20 I rolled.
Roll me
Oh, no.
another D20 so I can understand the intensity of this failure.
One.
Oh my goodness. I'm not joking. Dwight, I'm not joking. Another 1. 2 1s in a row.
Yes!
Isn't that the first?
That's the first time I think. All right.
1 in 400 chance.
The same
Of his
die.
mind.
Came up 1, and then it came up 1 again.
Well, it was nice knowing you,
Now
Diamondback.
permanently under this drying spell by everyone within 30 miles.
Matt, or I should say, all of you guys who were there, that was. Sorry, one sec. I need to get a new refrigerator. Matt, Diamondback was attempting to persuade you. That was a persuasion check. I will leave it to to each of you to understand, to decide how you'll respond to this. But let me give you the interpretation guide for what happened. He did fail to persuade you. There's no partial, you're not sure. He definitely failed to persuade you of what he was claiming. And in such a way, right? If he had rolled a 20, you would be persuaded, but in such a way as that, you sort of, it didn't bother you. It's no big deal. This is in a catastrophic failure of persuasion. So, Toll, Belvari, and Ink, like right there. I'll let you determine. Why don't y'all tell us about reactions y'all are having?
And just to remind you, what Diamondback was trying to persuade you of is that you do not need to worry about a lich in this situation.
In this river or this lake that a lich used to call home.
Well, the list of people in the party that Inkatink does not have serious beef or trust issues with has reduced to 0.
Oh, come on. You love Belvoir.
You don't trust me?
I think he kind of pities. He regards Talid. Is it Talid?
Yeah.
Yeah. With like, I don't know. I guess they're both stone workers, right? They're both artists. So I guess sure. It's just Inkatink and Talid. But he's still somewhat miffed with Belvari for just kind of always being a disrespectful jerk to him and being really racist towards him and
With
insulting.
the fact that I saved your life the very first time we met.
And the party saved his life the first time.
No,
Belvari feels
saved
that
your
way.
life, and then you almost died again, and Nino saved your life, and you're like, oh, I'm permanently bonded to Nino because she saved my life.
Well, that's because he had a little. But anyway, recently Belvari has been a racist jerk to him, so he's pretty miffed about that. And now Diamondback
is your species.
Yeah,
So
that makes it even more racist right there. So, and now he is pretty upset by the idea that Diamondback has brought a imminent lich presence to the party. So,
okay, Belvari, how about you? And Toll?
Belvari, basically, the catastrophic failure doesn't change anything. He is still assuming that the lich is going to appear at any moment.
And Toll, what are you on hearing this? And he has a catastrophic failure to persuade you that you don't have to worry about a lich.
Yeah, I feel like I'm starting to grow concerned about the phylactery's potential grasp on Diamondback and if it may be influencing what he has to say.
Okay. Well, why don't y'all continue on this conversation for a few minutes more? I'd like to hear if there's anything that y'all immediately do about this, great. Otherwise, if you're holding reservations in your hearts, but need to make some practical plans, that's fine too. You left pretty early in the morning. It is, from judging by the light, you believe it's about noon. You've got a dozen and a half people, say, in there, not to mention some pigs and belongings and stuff that'll need to sleep somewhere. You know of one safe house, and Inkatink and Diamondback come back reporting that the immediate area they checked didn't have any dangers. When I say immediate area, you didn't go like exploring the whole town. You went like within, let's call it about a block radius. Right.
So let's list the possible dangers we have. There is a lich that could appear at any moment. There is the giant wall of undead that could appear with a little bit of, right, there was sort of a weather situation.
You had kind of a false night sort of thing going on.
Yeah. There are skeleton zombie snakes in some of these buildings.
Mm-hmm. Maybe. You've seen them in one building.
Yeah, they're still in that building.
Yeah.
We just cover it in mud.
And it was the building attached by tunnel.
Far away.
It was the one building attached by tunnel to the place y'all went.
Okay. So it's not like they're necessarily in all of them.
It could be a special case. It could not be. I just want to point out that you do know that piece of information.
Yeah. Gotcha. So yeah, I'll let them know that. What we saw, where they were, it could just be those, or it could be every single one we open has.
Yeah. It would take you more than an hour of trudging through this sludge to get up to where that was.
Yeah. And then are there other, I guess Spolash could appear in the portal.
Sure. Just he knows the runes of the portal under a lake.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably not, but you know.
Then what resources? Or I'm not going to put words in your mouth.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah. What do we got? We got. Anybody else want to pitch in? What do we got?
I have extremely strong combat magic available.
Which might summon a lich.
All the better to kill us.
My staff can turn into a tree.
Nice.
Excellent.
We need to feed all these people also. They brought some animals, but we probably don't want to just start slaughtering those.
Gary,
Yeah.
who's been loitering with, excuse me, not maybe loitering is a strong word, but he's been
dropping eaves.
That's right. He's been dropping some eaves, sir. Is in the doorway and is minding his own business. But he mentions to you that part of what they brought was food that they brought from Miradau in the packs.
Gotcha.
They feel equipped that they won't be a burden.
Okay.
And also that he has some magical resources of his own.
Cool.
Should y'all need assistance. He does seem conscious of the fact that this is your place, not his. So he's not trying to assert, but he is also. He and I just lost his name.
Second command.
He's the sort of wise. He's the magus of this town. They actually have a leader already, who's the half-orc character.
Well, Diamondback is going to suggest that we fortify as many of these buildings that we've already checked and seen are free of undead. To fortify as many of them as possible before nightfall, so that the townspeople will have places that feel safe to sleep in over the dying of the light.
So we have a kind of depressed area that's like mud is around us, right? We've cleared it out a little bit here.
It's cleared from where you are all the way south to the entrance of the town. The road is pretty super muddy.
Gotcha.
It's hard. There's a little bit of water draining into it. And from where you are, a good maybe 100 or so feet, 150 feet in each direction. It's kind of sloping away from you.
Gotcha.
Right, you've
How
cleared it
many doorways are there? Like we have two that are open and clear inside. Are there like kind of two more that fit close together?
Josh, Inkatink, do you tell them which buildings you looked in and such, or are you still far away?
Yes. Yeah, he shows on a little map with minor illusion which
Some adjacent buildings.
locations.
Yeah. So Inkatink shows you 4 more empty buildings that he was able to get into, look around in this hour. Diamondback, do you report to them some buildings that are free from danger?
Yeah. I mean, I
How
think
many
there's
do you,
we probably started close by.
yeah.
Um,
All of these are within basically the size of a city block. They're together in a little huddle. You weren't trying to look for far away places where you could scatter. You're trying to be here together.
Yeah. So like the closest 3 buildings or 4, however many we think the townspeople will comfortably fit in. Like the teleportation room is not the best place to spend the night.
Yeah. You've got a combined 6 houses in addition to the 2 you already know.
Okay.
So that Inkatink and Diamondback report back a combined 6 places. That doesn't have to be permanent. It can be, something for the night while you're figuring your plans out. But you do have a bunch of people from Mirdow who are, happy to be significantly inconvenienced in the interest of being safe.
Yeah. So let's take each of us take one of the nearby buildings and a small, there's 5 of us currently here, I think.
Mhm.
Take a fifth of the people with us and go into those buildings again and then just like clear them. Make sure there's not a back door that opens into a lich's lair or a back door that has skeleton zombies coming through it.
And this is Belvari telling.
Yeah, telling
Well,
everyone.
I was thinking that we would want to maybe construct doors or barricades.
Doors on them.
They have doors. You can barricade them, but remember they have those black sliding things that seal the exterior entrance.
Yeah.
They're sort of like almost hemisphere egg-looking ovoid shapes, and when you push on them a certain way, it took you a little while to learn it. They have these. They kind of slide out.
And did you say that we noticed that somehow that made it easier for snakes to use them as doors or something like that? Am I remembering that?
You just noticed that the undulation of those Ananaga skeletons, just as they kind of moved, it seemed like it was useful to them. Just it wasn't like sharp edges that they would have to be against. It was kind of rounded and smooth.
Yeah, maybe we should figure out a way to barricade them. But yeah, like let's go in and maybe put the most fit people in front. And
Gary, kind of again, seeming not timid, but he certainly is aware of the potential to overstep. He kind of leans forward, and you can see he's a little ragged right now. But he says, "Would you mind if I contribute something here?"
Nah, stick your oar in.
And he kind of jogs over a little bit. He's halfling, so he was able to run over, and he just he says, I've seen that you've moved a lot of this. I've got some spells available. I can move some of this as well, be of some use to you, I hope. If you want to tell me how to help, I'm happy to help. And some of the townsfolk here can do some cleaning of the places. I don't know. You tell me. So he's volunteering the labor that they do as, from your perspective, relatively unskilled as far as magic or anything.
Mm-hmm.
He's more skilled. They're happy to move things. And
yeah, maybe Garriott could sort of wall off streets with his magics.
Sure.
And everyone else could help us just go into the houses and make sure that they're secure. And if one isn't secure, we'll be like, let's not use that one. Let's check a different one.
That sounds good to me. And Gavel, who's still 10, 15 feet away in the doorway, walks over as he does, and just stands next to Garriott and calls over his shoulder to Horan. Horan's the leather worker from Mirnow, and says, "Horan, come here." And he comes out of there and he says, "They've got some jobs for you all to do. You're in charge. I'm with Garriott." And you've gotten the distinct feel that Gevel sees one of his primary jobs, besides taking care of things and organizing, as watching over Garriott.
Bodyguard.
Yeah, something like that. They're clearly close and friends.
Gotcha.
So Garriott's on board. Gevel's going to stick with him, and he has indicated to Horan, who's a human leather worker, that he's just pointed to him and it has said to you, Belvari, let Horan know they'll do whatever you need them to do.
Cool. So yeah, if nobody else does anything, I'll start sending people into houses. You take that one. You take that one. You take that one.
Okay.
Yeah, and so once things are underway and people are starting to work, Diamondback is going to approach Belvari, who is has great forestry power, and he'll say, "Belvari, I have a magical way to create to help to guard the people overnight. However, I think it would be good for me to have some help with this. Are you willing? It is deep magic of the Snake Clan."
Belvari sighs deeply and looks away into the distance and says, "Okay."
Excellent. Mr. DM, Diamondback and Belvari would like to go search for some dead bodies. We need corpses and or
Should they be
just
moving
skeletons.
or not moving?
Do you? I'll let you work that out with him in a minute. But will you specify anything about the bodies? Does it matter what species or anything?
A pile of bones or a corpse of a medium or small humanoid. So
Medium or small
deer
humanoid.
aren't going to do it. Got to be a humanoid.
Okay. Estimate 5 or 6 hours before dark. It'll take you a half an hour to get into the forest area. It's okay with me if y'all are going to do that.
Yeah, I'll help.
Okay. I'll allotted that time.
We are searching for humanoid remains.
Actually, you know what I'd like to do? Belvari, you probably don't know as well as Diamondback how to find humanoid remains. It's probably more his...
Probably for the
Well, I was
best,
hoping to
actually.
use his ranger ability of finding things,
I mean, I don't know.
graves, or
He's not a ranger, though, right?
Oh, he's a druid.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah,
a
but he's
plus
still got
5
good.
Yeah. I'll let either of you help the other, however y'all want to arrange it, to do investigation. I'll let you roll several times. Roll me first survival, investigation, and then you can pick 2 more things that, if you can persuade me of their utility in this endeavor.
Okay, my investigation is good, but my
will
survival
help
is
you
not super
investigate.
good.
You should help me survive.
So survival first. Roll it for me. And,
All right,
give me a second. Let me set a DC here.
I'm helping Belvari with survival, so he's rolling with advantage.
You're rolling with advantage. That's right. And you're looking for just random humanoid dead bodies here in Garatone, and you're willing to travel up to, say, 3 hours, which would be like halfway out, and then you have to get back, right? Is that fair? Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to give you a 16 DC.
Okay. And if we find 2, we want the burly looking one,
Oh, we want both.
or both. Got 2 15s, and I have a plus 5, so that's 20 either way.
Okay. You are walking through and using your survival skills, Belvari, you notice some particularly treacherous terrain. Normally, you would use your awareness to avoid this, but you actually point out to Diamondback, "This is extremely treacherous. Let's look down here." And you look, and you actually do end up finding one long. Sorry, there it is. This I'm going to roll a d20. It's going to tell me what condition this body is in. 1 is going to be skeletal. 20 is going to be fresh meat. You've got an 18.
Ooh.
Relatively recently dead. It is not Teco or Lambrel.
Good.
Well, that's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
So
How good
Diamondback,
though-
It does kind of raise a question, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, like maybe they saw him,
It's a human.
like just straight up. I guess could we tell if it was a zombie human?
It's not moving.
Had been zombie.
Out
I
of
bet,
curiosity, if you rolled a 20, would it have called out for help? Like, help me, I'm going to die. And then
No.
it
like,
dies.
Diamondback.
That would be very
Diamondback would have to go and stab. No. Go for it, Diamondback.
yeah. So when we find this dead body, Belvari would see Diamondback sort of arrange it very respectfully, like almost as though he was going to bury it. Like the limbs are put in order, and there's maybe some herbs that he'll sprinkle on it, and then the snake staff will come out, and you'll see Diamondback start to do an incantation in something like sort of a Harry Potter parcel tongue, very hissy, very serpentine sort of language he's speaking.
And Diamondback, sorry, what's in your hands?
The snake staff.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Go. I'm ready.
Yeah. And so this incantation takes about a minute. Let me yeah. So and then he pricks himself and puts a drop of blood on the body and flicks a little something else on there and puts a pinch of some powder on it and continues on this incantation, making gestures and things. And after about a minute of this, you will see a foul, evil sort of false life come into the corpse, and it is raised up as a zombie under Diamondback's command.
The last time Belvari saw this was Diamondback did so with Gulb, but without the detailed ritual. He was just able to do it with components. This is a different thing happening, but it has the same basic effect. You hear a groaning as air starts moving through this creature again, a gurgling and burbling. And it stands and is listlessly near Diamondback. If you guys would like to go look for some more, roll me the next. You have up to 4 checks. Roll me another, whatever the next thing was.
Yeah, sure. The next one that you said was investigation. So if Belvari is still willing to help me with investigation.
Yeah.
Sure.
That is going to be a 22 total.
Investigate you do. As you're looking around, you're traveling around, the 3 of you now, with this shuffling grotesque behind you, and you find yourself, Diamondback, you're looking at different things, and you notice a patch of some mushrooms that you recognize, Diamondback, because it's been a part of your studies in the past to be exceedingly poisonous, though resembling mushrooms that are edible. You look around and you know about how long somebody would last if they were to eat such a thing, and you do in fact find something. You find one more dead creature in the condition of 9. This creature is mostly bone with some meat still on it, rags of clothing, whatever it was before. Based on its size, it appears to you to be an orc.
So this one would maybe technically be a skeleton rather than a zombie.
Yeah, I'll let you. I don't know what the gradations of that are. So yeah.
I don't. Well, so the spell says that if I choose bones, then it's a skeleton. If I choose a corpse, then it's a zombie.
We'll call it 10 and above is a zombie. Below
So this
10
is not a corpse; it's bones. Therefore, it's a skeleton
An orc
rather than a
skeleton.
zombie. So same
right.
thing. I cast Animate Dead again, and now I have two undead servants, and the idea is that we will bring these back to the place ASAP, and like we can use them to dig fortifications. They don't get tired. They'll do whatever I mentally command, and so like
You've been at it for 2 hours. You have 1 more hour before you feel like you should start heading back. So you can, if you want to persuade me of one other thing, that's fine. Otherwise, you can go with the 2 you got.
I can't cast the spell anymore right now.
Okay.
So I'll say to Belvari, if there's anything else that you need to do while we're out in the wilderness, this is the only errand that I had to run.
For deer.
Roll me a survival check with no.
I still get +5.
Nice.
Oh, 14. Is that?
Skeletons have short bows and can help you hunt deer.
I just have to find him. I don't want help from the skeleton. I want the skeleton.
You do, in fact, with the 14, you find some quarry. Let me figure out what's the appropriate size. What's a creature of this appropriate size? Smaller than a deer, bigger than a rabbit. What do you find? Probably a
badger.
Sure.
I mean, bigger rabbit.
Sure.
A hare.
That's fine.
Who wants to eat badger?
Next time I'll have something ready so I can pick an animal at random. Would you like a hare?
I've seen some pretty big hair, so hair.
You find a hare. It is 12. Big guy.
Nice.
You're able to kill it. The skeleton misses its shot, and you give it the stink eye
from the old college try.
That's right. You make it back to the town. While you've been gone, Inkatink, what were you doing?
So Inkatink has been searching.
It's been 3 hours.
Yeah. So he spent the last few hours looking for some components, and he's looking for a locate object.
Okay. Have you gone out of the city for this?
I suppose I'd have to, right?
Looking in wilderness, you could be looking in buildings. I mean, you don't really find much in the building so far, but roll me a survival check. And I just want to remind you that you pretty thoroughly farmed out the area for a lot of the components when you were with. So I'm not saying there isn't, but roll me a survival check, and based on your roll, I'll tell you if you're able to find any.
I rolled a 2. Pretty darn close to a 20.
That's right. One digit off. Excuse me, one digit off. You don't find any. You are not able to come up with any in a time where back safely. You need to return.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Toll, what are you doing during this time?
I am going to use my staff and I'm going to cast locate animals or plants. And what am I trying to find? I'm trying to find a root, or I guess it doesn't matter what part. I'm trying to find a wind branch coconut tree.
Okay. Components, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, I'll let you roll for it, and there's a chance of success here. But remember that during the time that y'all were with the dragon, a lot of this area was harvested of many of its components. So what I'd like you to do is roll me a. I'm sorry. Remind me. What does your staff do that helps you with this?
It lets me cast it.
Cast detect magic.
Locate animals or plants.
Locate animals or plants. Okay, great.
And I think
Let me
I just have to use any one component for it.
Yeah, that's right. And let me just really quickly, I don't remember the details of that, so I'm just going to pull up that spell.
Yeah.
Animals or plants. There it is. Describe or name a specific kind of beast or plant, concentrating on the voice of nature in your surroundings. You learn the direction and distance to the closest creature or plant of that kind within 5 miles, if any are present. And I'm going to call that, in this kind of foresty travel, within about an hour and a half, 2 hours walk. So roll me a just straight up D, and I'll tell you if there are any that you notice within 5 miles.
All right. And I think the roll actually affects the speed that I'm able to do it at.
Okay.
That's a nat 20.
Okay. So yeah, you do find some. It is, let's see, within 5 miles. I will use this. 4 miles away to the tree where you're going for. If you want to head out and try to get that on your own, I'm willing. You'll be able to go do that and get back safely, but not do other things.
Okay. Yeah,
Is it
I'll
worth
do that.
Okay. You get there, and what are you looking for from that tree?
I mean, I want the roots for Acid Arrow because I feel like that's a good spell. But I'll take whatever else there is, and I'll figure out what it is later.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Oh, I rolled a 20 for that. That's great. That means you're good on that. And you find...
Oh,
sorry.
so
yeah,
I remembered that there's a special table for this spell on this staff.
I recall that. Now I do. Thanks. Give me a second. Let me pull it up.
Yeah.
Got it.
So I get 3 D20 spell levels worth of components and return to my original location in an hour.
Okay. Do that. Arrange those D20. Do your 3D20. You roll it. I won't roll it.
Okay. So the thing with Acid Arrow is it's a level 2 spell, so I need 2 other non of these to cast it. So I'm gonna get way more than I need, but I'll deal with that later.
Yeah, better than too few.
Yeah, right.
So roll
that was
3D20.
terrible. I got 8
on all 3.
Yeah, combined.
Okay. Well, so you can get 4 root, right?
Yeah, I'll take all 4 of them.
Okay. And you head on back.
What do I get of the other ones?
Of the other one, what's?
Oh, can I not get other components from?
Get a total of 8 levels of spell.
Oh, okay. I understand. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine then. That actually works out because then that matches the other
great
numbers of stuff that I had.
Talad, what were you doing during this time? All of the people of Mirrodau are being directed by Horan, who's in charge at Gevel's command. Are you going to work with them? Are you going to go do something else? Are you going to try to sleep?
He's probably going to he's going to be working with them, with air quotes. He's going to be just carving some murals up, sort of working.
Okay.
He'll work on that. It won't be really helpful, but it'll be something to do to kill the time.
Where?
Is there like would there be a town square thing? Could he do it on the like white pillar?
That's really far away. You'd be going not really far away. You'd have to travel for something like an hour and a half into the heart of the city through deep muck.
Mm.
Y'all are not close to that.
Okay. It's a big city.
Hold on one second.
No, a lot of muck too.
One day we'll
That-
be grateful for
that's
the massive
dangerous.
infrastructure.
That's a dangerous place. But if you want to do it with me, that's fine. There are also opportunities for you to own around here. There are little obelisk-looking things on some of what appear to be path corners. Some of them already have some symbols etched in. You're guessing that they are indicators of roads or something.
I think he'll work with the people this time. He'll
Okay.
Move boxes or whatever else needs to be done.
Sounds good.
Clear out some of those houses.
So you all get back, and what we're going to do now is, while you were gone, Garriott has made good progress. He has taken Belvari's instruction. He has, on the houses where you all are, the sort of set of 6 that are roughly adjacent, catty corner to each other. What he's done is cleared the path behind each one by getting the muck that was there and putting a mud. Now it's a mud facade against the buildings and between them. And so what he's effectively done is made, as far as you can tell, a solid sort of right-angled, contoured wall around about half of the area that you're trying to cover. That he's been using the existing edifice. He's done it in an intelligent way. There's a walkway all the way around that it's sort of like that is between the house you'd be in and the wall, no matter which house you're in. He wasn't able to get it all the way done, but he made good progress, worked the entire time.
Nice.
Diamondbacks. Oh, go on.
It is starting to get dark. You all a few minutes of each other, within 15 minutes.
Since
When
mine
Diamondback-
only took an hour, can I do something else?
Yours was 4 miles away, Toll. Oh, did it say it takes?
Yeah.
Okay, I recall that now. Yeah, go for it. You can look for more things, which you'll have to roll the 20 again, and you have a limitation on how much you can use it. Or you can
I'll
do
just
everything.
forage for stuff like nearby for the rest of the time.
Okay, roll me a survival check.
Say 3.
You don't find anything, but you have a lot of fun getting dirty. So yeah, Toll, you got some acid air components, but aside from that, it wasn't like super productive. But hey, you're learning, the area.
I can't believe I rolled an 8 out of 60.
That was pretty low.
What was the minimum?
The minimum
3,
was
I
3.
guess.
3.
Yeah.
3 to 60.
Wow.
Okay, so why don't we come together? We're going to do a little bit, and then I'm going to tell you about the downtime you're going to have immediately after this.
We
Go.
might want to. So when Diamondback reappears, he's going to have the skeleton and the zombie start
Yeah, what if
pitching
he
in on
keeps
wall
those-
construction.
What if you keep those on the outside of the wall so they're not freaking out the children?
If there are children around, they may very well be freaked out.
So
That's their problem.
one of the things Gary did, there was nobody around himself,
Great.
but he put a mud wall on the cleared street. To get around it, you would have to go make a little path outside of that to a not obvious way to get in.
Mhm.
Again, he's only got about half of it covered, but eventually his concept appears to be that there will be an entrance way that's a much smaller controlled space.
Nice.
And it's a rammed earth type wall, so it's not a castle, but it provides some protection, and it appears to be not quite, but roughly right angled on each side. He's got it done pretty well.
Nice.
Yeah, so Diamondback gets shovels, equips his minions with those, and they go to work just tirelessly scooping mud into making these walls, extending them according to whatever the apparent plan seemed to be.
Okay, now y'all are going to have we're going to do our 10-minute break, and then we'll come back at the end of when we come back. I'll describe the entire downtime plus what is happening at the other side of that. Real quickly, it doesn't have to be super quick, but I'd like to go through each of you and understand what you want to use personally this downtime for. You're going to have about 3 weeks of downtime right now. As this is happening, no, you know what? I'll skip that for a second. So you're going to have about 2.5, 3 weeks of downtime where you're getting this place cleaned, getting the muck out of the buildings that you're trying to live in, dealing with these undead, perhaps, if anybody needs emotional support. So why don't we go around? We'll start with, let's say, Inkatink. What are you going to do during this 2.5, 3 weeks?
Maybe we could think about it like over the 10-minute break. And
yeah, that's fine with me. Yeah. So you have 2.5, 3 weeks, but we'll do it a little bit quickly because I want to make sure that we're getting to the event on the other side. It's not like some dire. I'm just saying, make sure that we're moving through the break as well.
Gotcha.
Okay, good. Take our 10-minute break. It is 8:50 now. We'll be back at 9 sharp or later if you're late.
So Robert,
Yeah.
Is there any chance I could get those components identified?
Yeah. Are they in your, what do you call it?
Yeah, they're in my spreadsheet.
Okay, let me find it for you. I'll do that during this 10-minute break.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
How did you heat that water? Did you just use all of it in the
Microwave.
Okay.
2.5 minutes or so.
I think I'm going to need a ruling on something.
because
Okay, give me 1 sec.
people don't use them. They'll, take it out for a ride right after they buy it, and then they hang it up in their garage and never use it again.
What is it? A moped?
Just a bicycle.
Okay.
It's just a bicycle, but it has an electric assist.
Oh, that's awesome.
Moped. But
I got a bicycle.
Uh-huh.
It's awesome.
I got 2 legs. What happened to that? What happened to walking places?
Walking bicycles? Actually,
Well,
the original
you know-
bicycles were walking bicycles. You kind of walked, and then you could pick your feet up when you go downhill, and then you just kind of drive system. Then they came up with the penny farthing.
you're right.
It's a bicycle. You know, the one with the big old huge.
That's right. It's been a
Because
little while.
the reason that wheel was so big was so that you had because it was a direct drive. It had something to do with you're able to power it, right? Otherwise, if the smaller the wheel is on a direct drive, the
The
more
less.
you can pedal really fast if you want to go anywhere. Also, penny farthings killed people because they fell off and hit their head.
Makes a lot of sense to me.
I believe. Okay, Matt, I'm ready. Hey, Toll, Pat.
Yep.
I've got your.
Awesome, thank you. On or 49A, I have error, value error.
Why? The reason for the
Oh, that's just the value. I guess that's not a huge deal. Not the count.
You?
Dwight, it sounds like you guys are glitching out. It's hard to say.
Yeah, I hear that too.
Might need to rejoin when Sir Robert gets back.
Matt, seeing you play the banjo on here every week has made me want to buy one.
They're really fun.
And they're not terribly expensive either, but I think I should wait a little bit.
He's making it's like whistling, but a lot slower.
That is what whales sound like, I think.
Hey, Sir Robert, you guys are pretty glitchy right now. Like, you're frozen at the moment. I can't see anything.
Sir Robert appears to be in anguish.
Like ninja.
No, not him.
Hey, Inkatink.
I make a point not to
Yo.
like people that are popular.
Diamondback has a wonderful plan for what you should do with your downtime.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
Artisanal streams.
Well, Diamondback wants
Oh no, there's
Inkatink
7 people
to
on
get
the
his
stream. Gotta
focus.
Find somebody new.
If your PC isn't homegrown
During the
And
downtime?
then-
whole wheat, I am not subscribing.
During the downtime?
Yeah,
Literally made out
Okay.
of wheat.
if
Catches
possible.
on fire when you're doing
Yeah.
And then join up with Garriott to start a magic school to get as many of these townspeople also to have their focus.
Did y'all stop being able to hear us? Can anyone hear us on the stream?
Oh, hey, we can hear you pretty good now. We did sort of stop being able to hear you, and I tried to tell you a bunch of times that you were glitching out.
Like maybe he was about to respond to me, but then he stopped.
Can you hear us?
sounds-
Josh,
I can see your hand moving. It seems like it's pretty good right now.
Josh, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Here or won't
I can
hear.
I see that you tried to cast a spell there, but it didn't look like it.
Yeah, Josh seems to be able to hear me. Can you hear
Yep.
other people? It seemed like you were talking to someone.
I'm talking to Matt.
Okay. We haven't.
You
been
can't
able
hear
to
me at all? I'm saying a whole bunch of
sitting there
stuff.
frozen and whistling.
I'm saying a whole bunch of stuff and
Like
they
we
can't hear me?
him.
Matt keeps spewing libertarian propaganda. I don't know.
That's why we can't hear him.
Matt's been
Trevor
listening to
definitely has
Rush
that
again.
blocked.
I got
Yeah.
that filtered.
Should I drop out and rejoin? Oh no, if I drop out, the whole thing's
Seen
gonna.
that Black Mirror where
I think we
like,
can all
certain
hear each other
concepts-
fine, except for everyone with Sir Robert.
It seems like Sir Robert can't hear all of
We
us.
can hear
Sir Robert,
everybody but Matt and possibly Jared.
Have you been hearing Patrick?
We just started hearing Patrick again. It seemed like we may have lost him for a little while.
Pat's been talking smack, we heard.
That's
Yeah.
what I do.
And Pat is saying, "No, you fool."
I'm a pot stir.
An anarchist model is the only one with the true capacity to provide freedom to man. So I don't
I mean, they do have that nice cookbook. They do.
I think we should all just be nice to each other. That's my. I don't think we've tried that.
Rodney King is on your team.
The problem, people try it at any time.
Yeah, if we could just all be nice at the same time. For
Yeah, the
just
problem
one
is
second.
not that we can't do it. The problem is that we haven't organized to do it. We need to get the masses all on board.
Everybody be nice
By
to
force if
everyone for
necessary.
1 second.
Even
There we go.
if we have to be really mean about it.
That's right.
This is an ends justifies the means situation.
To say
It's too important to be
no,
nice
no.
There we go.
to allow anybody to not be
Like
nice.
missiles.
That's right.
You've got it, Matt. You got a seat on my joy cabinet.
We can't hear Matt. What is the deal? What? That's never happened before.
I'm going to try reconnecting.
Hopefully that'll.
Can y'all not hear him at all?
No, he's completely frozen. Like his name is Captain Frozerpants.
That's so weird.
Yeah, that's never happened before. Usually we just can hear everyone, but y'all can't hear us.
Can you hear me now? Apparently not.
Apparently not.
Um,
It looks like we may need to restart the stream then.
Well, we'll see if. I think Sir Robert is going to try dropping and reconnecting.
please keep this page open. You can still hang up or reload. Hey, Jared, I can see you, and if you say something, I'll tell if I can hear you.
You're muted,
Hey.
though.
Yeah,
I can hear you.
We hear Jared.
I can hear Jared, too.
nice.
Right now, apparently, Sir Robert
Still
and
can't
his
hear Matt,
crew
though.
cannot hear me.
El Mato.
Oh, weird.
El Matatat. I like to say.
And you don't have like Matt's window muted?
We see him, and he's frozen.
Huh.
Right.
It's been frozen for like 20 minutes.
Maybe Josh could just do a dramatic reenactment of everything he
Yeah.
says.
I'm going to try to reload
All right.
without hopefully being destructive to our audio. Gosh, I hope not.
You have the local recording, right?
And then he went
Well done, Josh.
Wait, you were like
just like
the other
that.
side recording.
I forgot to start it this time. I just started it just now.
What, Matt? No, put the gun down. No.
Oh yeah, you still lose
The stuff we did already.
but it's trying to upload it.
I mean, it's
Right.
hovering at 99%, which I think means it's just uploading constantly right now. And it says on the Leave Studio button, please keep this page open. You can still hang up or reload, which I think means it'll just resume. All right, I'm going to give it a try. Hopefully we don't lose all of our stuff.
So Jared, you hear Matt?
Yeah.
Okay.
Buddy,
Matt's in a different position.
is he still frozen though?
I can't tell. He's
Maybe
pretty
he's
still.
holding
No,
on
he's
still.
moving now.
Nice.
What's up?
Finally,
Nope, I gotta freeze him.
Clan dance.
That would be a falsetto song, wouldn't it?
Matt, what's the judgment you needed from me about
What was
whatever?
the last thing we
Yes. So, let me get the text of the spell back up. The creature is under your control for 24 hours, after which it stops obeying any command you've given it. To maintain control of the creature for another 24 hours, you must cast this spell on the creature again before the current 24-hour period ends. This use of the spell reasserts your control over up to 4 creatures you have animated with this spell, rather than animating a new one. So, the question is, can I reanimate zombies or skeletons that had previously been under my control, but which I had allowed the control to lapse?
No, to retain that control, that has to happen, and you have to animate them to have the control, and then cast it to do it. So if they're still shuffling around, no.
What if I kill them again and they become a corpse or pile of bones once more?
I'm okay with that.
I'll kill him for you. I want the EXP.
It only kills you to bring you back.
Okay, I think that limits me to 4 of them, 5 at the most.
Yeah, your last one, if you've accumulated them, you can reassert control over 4 and get 1 more. And then the next day, you can reassert control over 4 and reassert control over 1 more.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be able to animate a 6th.
That's right. Not in your current
Okay,
estate.
that's cool.
Is it based on the level? Does it go up as you?
How many castings you can do? And
It's just spell slots.
Yeah, it's just spell slots. I've only got 2 third-level spell slots. But that's fine. That means that I'll be able to have 1 third-level spell slot available each day.
Yeah.
To use for other stuff.
Yeah. Okay, let's get back into it. Why don't you guys tell me, and we'll try to go relatively quickly, but why don't you guys tell me what you're going to use these? You know what? Let me tell you an exact number of days here. You know what? Sorry, I have to do a minimum. So what I really need to do is something like this. $19 days. This is going to be the time it's taking you to feel like you've cleaned out this area, like clean in the sense of livable clean, made it a place for the pigs to be. Everybody's kind of in a stable position, and you feel like you can trust the wall. The exterior defense.
Okay, so how far away is the Bone City?
It's a day's travel if you press hard, and after a couple of days of this, sorry, I'm going to jump in for a quick jump in, and then we'll jump back. One event that happens in the midst of our downtime, and then we'll jump back into our downtime. But it's been, I will tell you some number of days. Give me a second. It's been 4 days. Y'all are still working. And you see, after a little bit, Lambrel and Teco and
Stretched out spirit girl.
no, but Lambrel, Teco, and dang it, I just lost the name. I've got it right here. Hold on one sec.
Adina?
No, although that is her name, but that's not the one you see.
Oh.
Lambrel, Teco, and Veradia, who is the huntress also from Saracon. The three of them come, and they basically give you this report that when you all left, very promptly, Adina just started moving crazy fast to the south.
Like towards Bone City?
No.
Towards where we were.
Towards Miradau.
Yeah.
And it appears that she's been being pulled at a sort of steady rate towards the phylactery. When that was really far away in Miradau, she just was out of there and they couldn't find her. Teco and Lambrel ran after in the direction, but she was way faster than them.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't able to keep up. At wit's end, Teco and Lambrel searched for a good day looking for her, and then went back to Saracon, explained their grief. Veradia left with them to go find her. However, they didn't know what to do, so they had come partway back here and then been going in the same direction. And they found Adina pulling back here towards this city. They don't understand what's going on, but they do know that now she is maybe a quarter to a half mile into the forest, still being pulled now again back into the town. Teco is exhausted with grief about what is happening to his daughter. They've been keeping her alive. She is, they say, back at the town now. They've given her a little bit of milk, some water. It's hard to feed her. She's in a coma, and she's, thin. They don't know what to do. They come to you with this report on the mid-morning of the 4th day.
Well, good thing Diamondback has a plan.
Diamondback appears. He is. Sir Robert, could you real quick do two more rolls to tell me whether my next two undead companions are zombies or skeletons or what?
Yes. During your downtime of the past few days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. One is a extremely fresh corpse. This person you came upon, like they might have just been killed. Arrows in the back type of thing. It is a half orc. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I was going to roll on that first one you looked for. Okay, still one. And then the other is another skeleton, another orc skeleton. So you have two orc skeletons and a human and half-orc zombie.
Nice.
This orc skeleton is in. It's much more skeletal. It doesn't have any kind of anything on it.
So Diamondback appears flanked by undead. Anybody who looks carefully at these undead will see that he's been practicing some sort of mummification procedures to them, so that parts of the undead bodies that have like open wounds have been sewed shut and packed with like mummifying type herbs and stuff to make the smell not so bad. Like, he's got these arts passed down from a long time in his village, and so they're not as offensive as they could be, but they're definitely still undead and evil. There's a palpable aura of evil coming off of them. Diamondback appears and says, good. She's coming back. Take me to her.
To the which one?
Adina, the spirit of the girl.
To her. Okay, her soul, her spirit, not the.
As long as, well, presumably Diamondback knows which one he has to go to, the body or the spirit, in order to do the thing that he needs to do.
The spirit is doing what it's doing, and what Diamondback knows is that the body needs to be brought.
Oh. I didn't know that.
Okay.
Matthew didn't know that.
Maybe I'll have Diamondback explain what he knows. Does that sound okay? Do you want to do that? And that'll be me explaining to you.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure this is what we talked about already. But Diamondback, through whatever arcane necro sources he uses, is under the impression that should they be able to get the spirit of this girl to pass through the body of the girl with a high overlap of form, like position and shape.
Okay.
Does that make sense for what we talked about?
Yeah, Diamondback would have. Sure. I think Diamondback would have gone to get her body days before this.
Okay. We will let that be done. You have gone, Veradia. I'm just going to retcon that.
Because Diamondback knows where the spirit is going.
Yeah.
As soon as the spirit shows up, nearby.
I'm gonna retcon this just a little bit. Veradia, Teko, and Lambrel come with Adina's body, knowing not when the spirit will be here, but you've told them to have her here and be ready. She's now outside the town and moving at some speed towards.
Excellent. You have the body here. You have the spirit here. The spirit is moving. Good. We can do this. And I lead.
Yeah.
We go there and attempt to, like, hopefully the spirit is not deep underground or anything.
No, about 8 feet off the ground at the feet. Okay. So it'll be a challenge to hoist her up, but you can try as often as you like for full daylight.
I have. So the first thing that's going to happen is that we're going to make a human pyramid of zombies. And Diamondback.
Go ahead.
It's going to be 2 zombies on the bottom, and then 2 skeletons on top, and then Diamondback and Toll are going to grab the girl's body and ascend, holding her above them.
And Teko's in this. What I'm going to let Teko wants to be involved. It's his daughter, right?
Teko can be the one who helps, who carries her up with me.
Sure.
If he's willing to climb up animated skeleton ribs, as though they were a ladder.
You're going to get 1 try per half hour. And to see how long it takes you to get this done, I want you to roll me a D20, which is your I want make it an acrobatics because you got to be up there and positioning her. An acrobatics check on Diamondback's part and roll me a d20 with a DC 20 until you get it. That's how long it takes. What's Diamondback's acrobatics?
Okay, never mind. That can't help me.
It's a +3.
Here's a d20.
Mm-hmm.
8 + 3 is 11.
Go again. That if you spend half an hour and you aren't able to get her positioned right.
If I try this twice, I'm gonna like. Actually, the first time I fail, I'm gonna be like, "This is harder than I thought." Inkatink, tall. Is there any possibility of building any kind of scaffold? I'll continue to try it this way, but if you could build any kind of ladder or scaffold or structure that would make this easier. She's 8 feet off the ground.
Well, I was going to spend part of my
Wait,
time.
sorry, Patrick, we can't quite hear you. Your volume's really low.
Move my mic. I was going to spend my time awakening a bunch of trees to protect this area, so I will have a few by this point. And
you've got awakened trees?
I was planning.
You should
on
have said so, bro. 8 feet's nothing for an awakened tree.
Yeah.
One of Toll's awakened trees does it for us.
Awakened tree could be a short awakened tree.
Could be a bonsai awakened tree.
So, Toll, you don't know when they come. It takes you 8 hours to awaken a tree, right?
Right.
But he's had 4 days to do it.
No, but he doesn't know which direction exactly she'll be coming from and where she'll pass by the tree. So once you find out where she is,
they're mobile though.
So can fly.
Yeah, they can walk.
Oh, okay. Great.
Yeah, he can bring them from wherever and set up and just lift her body up there. Awakened tree is perfect.
Toll, roll me one for an awakened tree that kind of freaks out Lambro and Teko and Veradia, but roll me one with a DC 16 for the tree.
What is
actually?
The
You know
tree?
what? Make it a DC 10.
Is that just a straight D20?
A strength check, an acrobatics check?
No, just a straight D20 because it's not really you. You're just commanding a tree. It's got a. I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say we could like make stats for them since I'm gonna make a bunch of them. But
just do a plant handling check. I'm just kidding. Just a D20. A D20 is fine.
All right.
Because I also want to move to them. Okay, great. Diamondback's tried this with the zombies. Toll has been working on getting a tree animated, which he does. It takes him some hours, a whole day basically. Y'all are working on this, but he's able to get a tree to shuffle towards you. And working for a while and having to explain to this tree, it's not dumb, but it's it's a big tree. It is actually able to get it. The spirit who's sort of reaching constantly towards her body, at some point the tree is able to pose her in the same way she's kind of reaching, and she snaps into it. And you no longer see the spirit. She's awake and collapses, limp into the tree's limbs. And now she is there, hanging from a tree.
I am truly a very great and powerful wizard.
Good. It's all about Diamondback. Okay. Toll, did you say something?
I said I fist bumped the tree. I want to ingratiate myself to them because they have 30 days under my control, and then they're free to decide if they want to still hang out with us. So I want them to be a permanent fixture here, so we can have some safety.
Fair enough.
Pat, are these awakened trees like the awakened tree from the monster manual, or is it with some other stats?
That's a good question.
We'll talk about that in a minute. But
okay.
So this works. This whole day, this 4th day, was spent that way.
You want to get what we were doing?
Yeah, just in brief. Inkatink, what were you spending what are you going to spend this couple of weeks on? 3 weeks.
So this is a question for you as to whether this is appropriate, but I think Inkatink is seriously considering just running off and getting his focus and just trying to survive by like sleeping up in the tops of trees and you know. So I think,
As in leaving the party?
yeah, as in like disappearing and taking his chances on trying to find his focus.
If he asks for help, Diamondback will help him.
Yeah, I think he probably goes to Diamondback and says, like, I'm thinking about, he kind of, conveys to him, I'm thinking about going to get my focus, right? So the question is, can the two of them, is there a series of checks that we can do, or is that an inappropriate thing to attempt to do for the format of our story?
Give me a sec. We'll come back to you.
Belvari was going to go out and just kind of go hunting, do some turning into various beasts. He's trying to see some new beasts, so he's like looking for dangerous animals.
Okay.
And he's willing to fight them.
Okay.
And also provide food for.
Okay. And Toll, are you mostly awakening trees, or are you doing other things too, or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping I can do 1 tree a day.
Yeah.
So 19 trees, and let me think about that. I will do 15 huge trees because I can do huge or smaller. And then I will do 2 large trees and 2 medium trees, I guess, just in case. Maybe for utility we'll need them. So.
Okay.
We'll eat them. Need them.
Talad, what are you going to do during these 3 weeks-ish, 19 days?
I guess he'll.
You've had some time.
Yeah.
You're.
From out your shell.
Yeah.
I think he'll. What was the name of the halfling person again that ran the previous town? Garriott. I think he'll start talking to Garriott, see if he can help with some of the more running the town kind of stuff, because back in his old thing, as you'll obviously remember from my very detailed backstory, he wasn't exactly a very prominent. Well, he'll just try and help out, that kind
Garriott is really interested to get to know you. He's a little wary at first, but he understands that when it's explained to him that you're not the Oravan he was concerned about exactly, that you're also a refugee from them, though they were your family. But he considers you Oravan. You are Oravan to him. So he's interested in getting to know you, spending some time with you. You really get along well with him. You have a rapport, and you notice over these 3 weeks, you've built such a rapport with him and some of the other townsfolk. Sometimes it feels like you know what they're going to say before they say it. It's like you really are relating to these people struggling to survive in an alien place.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Inkatink.
I wanted to say, if I in the first day after this, if Inkatink hasn't left yet, Toll will just apologize to him quickly, saying that he didn't, he wasn't trying to upset him, and he knows Nena wasn't either, but he wanted her to do it. She felt like she had to, and he's sorry if that upset him.
I think Inkat's eyes narrow at him, and it doesn't seem to have made things any worse, and he doesn't freak out at him or anything, but you definitely walk away from the interaction with the impression that Inkatink's regard for you is still, cold, still frustrated, not openly hostile. He's still pretty miffed. But then I think he probably does think about the fact that Yoshka, he tried, he couldn't. And so I think he looks at, to walk away from him, and then it occurs to him he couldn't stop Yoshka, and he thinks, is that what he want? Toll, telling Nina what to do and pushing her around. And he walks back up to Toll and he says, "Sometimes you just can't make the dice fall in the pit." And he kind of pats him on the shoulder and kind of gives a shrug and walks off.
Inkatink. Oh, sorry, Toll. Do you want to respond to that at all? If not, if that's okay.
No, that seems like a good place to leave it.
Okay. Inkatink, how does it sound to you if you bring up this idea of your focus and Diamondback implores you to give him a few days for Adina's sake, and then he'll go with you?
Yeah, he's I think I was thinking about all that before all this stuff with clear, so we can retcon and say that, he's Inkatink is on board. If that came up, he would be focused on that.
So you get Adina, and rather than take the you all do get Adina back into her body, rather than take the perilous trek to Saracon, a full day with her in this weakened state, you bring her into the town, into the little hamlet within the town that you've developed. Urella, especially the widow from Miradau, is able to tend to her nearly full time, and she's going to nurse her back. Teko stays here in the town with you, and Lambrel and Varadia, the hunter and huntress, head back to Saracon to let them know that Adina is safe. Would you like them to take any message to Saracon? It can be that Teko and Adina are here recovering, but they'll join them in Saracon soon. It can be whatever else.
They should come here.
Yes.
We're rebuilding Zion. The resistance is here.
Okay. Roll me, each of you, a persuasion check of that persuasion. We're not here with silver-tongued Yoshka, but
A persuasion check of that persuasion.
like to persuade them, that's a thing.
Hey, 18 from Diamondback. Very persuasive note he writes.
4 from Belvari.
He doesn't
Chase
write a
them
note.
off.
Inkatink, are you going to try or just going to?
Inkatink can give it a shot. I'll roll it on whopping 10. So I'm not sure that he's able to find the word.
Yeah, they're definitely up for conveying what they've seen and what they think about the offer to Krafit and Morka, the leader and the arcanist of Saracon. And you'll just find out when you find out. They'll send somebody back or something.
Can Diamondback make this for his 18? Can Diamondback make this his message? That Tall is creating awakened trees. He's already created a couple when we send this message, right? So Diamondback would say, as you have built your dome over Saracon of dead trees and held back the undead in this way, so we here in Zion are building a wall of living trees.
They are impressed with what they've seen. It's unlike things they've seen before, and they're persuaded, well, if you're 18, but they do convey that they are not the decision makers. They will let them know at Saracon what they've seen. Teko, however, is grateful, and Adina to be able to rest here and recuperate. She's gaunt and needs food and nourishment. And Teko is happy to help while he's here. Okay, so we're gonna alive further, but what I want to do is let me look at my time here. How many potions of materials do you have, Inkatink?
That is a fantastic question. We, I think, have more than Inkatink does. I know that Inkatink already had the components for 3 more that he has not yet used.
Okay.
But we may have more in the party. What's that?
Are you going to make a potion and go look with Diamondback? Okay.
Yes, he is
Here's
going
what
to at the very
happens.
least make 2 for himself.
Okay. The two of you are going to set out and go explore. Presumably, Diamondback, you're going to take your zombies, your skeletons.
Is the wall complete?
The wall is now complete, and Gary has been embellishing it above the level of the buildings so that it's also difficult. You couldn't climb up on a building and just jump in.
Yeah, my undead are not smart enough not to attack townspeople without me to give them direct commands, so they do need to come with me.
Okay. So, Inkatink, you take this potion on the day you're ready to leave, the 6th day. So Adina's been recovering, everything's sort of stabilized. And the potion indicates to you, your feathers start ruffling, and you can feel your spine shaking and shivering and quivering, and a pressure that you have felt before when you were way far in Mirrodale long ago. You feel it pulling you. And it appears to be pulling you something like northwest of your current position. You don't know how far, but it's that way. You two want to try to make a trek?
Yeah, so
Yep.
thinking to himself about the maps that they have made from their journeys, he's got one data point from Mirrodale and a direction that he can presumably remember. And now they're far away, and he has another direction. So make any kind of check to try to discern anything about the distance.
Unfortunately, from Mirrodale, you went through a teleportation circle, several weeks travel to a not exactly known direction.
Right.
So
right.
you're not able to use that meaningfully here.
Okay.
However, if this is, how far are you willing to travel on one potion? You want to go a whole day and camp for the night? You want to try to do a day out and come back? Okay.
He's going to bring some rope so that they can try to sleep up in the trees to at least be up off the ground. So.
Each of you roll me a DC 10 history check.
Oh, you're asking for a history check from a wizard? That's going to be a failure. Actually, 3 plus 6 is only 9.
All right,
Okay.
I got a 10.
As soon as you talked it up, you were gonna.
Hubris is Diamondback's greatest strength.
So Inkatink got a 10, flat 10.
Got a 10. Inkatink, you don't exactly remember, but you remember some phrases. It was a very busy time at Saracon where you were. And from one of the things you do remember distinctly is talking to you, and you were a little flustered, but the direction you're being pulled is in the general direction of what you remember as the whole.
I think he repeats this in the voice of, close.
That was great.
In his voice in common, the whole.
The whole.
Interesting.
You travel and you go, let's see, you leave at dawn, you leave at first light. And, okay. You travel pretty much the entire day without incident. It's starting to get late, and you've gone a good long way. Night is going to fall soon. The darkness will come. In the distance, you no longer feel the pull, but you feel like you're confident you can go in the straight direction because it's been many hours, right? But you feel like you're confident you can go in a straight line here. In the distance, you're not exactly sure how to think about it, but it appears that night has fallen up ahead sooner than it has here. You're probably you think you're seeing several hundred feet, but it's hard to tell because of the trees.
Okay. So if we're losing light traveling in this direction, that means we'll have possibly shorter and shorter days to travel. That's going to be rough. If to be getting darker, and I haven't used my flight yet, and we're getting towards the end of the day, I think he's probably going to try to fly, 5 minutes in this direction to scout, just to make sure that at least for 5 minutes of flight ahead in a straight line, there's nothing coming at him. So he'll
Okay.
convey that to Diamondback and then fly for 5 minutes, and then 5
You
minutes
use your
back.
stone. You lift off from the ground and push forward. After only, and give me a second, I'm looking for a D10. No, you know what? I'll do a D6. After 3 minutes of flying straight towards this, it's actually different than you first thought. The light around you is the same as it should be. It's getting dusky, but you find yourself at, for lack of a better word, a wall of black mist. Looking up, it is all the way through the lower canopy. You can't see anything. And to the right, you gaze, and the wall has no end that you can see. And to the left, it has no end that you can see. And it is clearly a misty wall, but what you do see is the mist, it's almost piled up or something, making a wall with, you can see into the mist like a few inches before it's complete blackness. Inches, like not far at all. And deep, far away, you can't, well, maybe far away, it's hard to tell what distance, you hear screeches of different kinds of animals. Things like braying of horses or screeching of monkeys or birds, other sorts of animals. It does not sound calm. Whatever's in or past or whatever this black boundary. It's been 3 minutes that you've flown. You can fly back to Diamondback or whatever.
Inkatink would like to make an Arcana check to try
Mhm.
assess what's going on here.
Roll it.
13 Arcana check.
Okay. It is certainly the mist. You're confident, but you're not sure.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't know what's going on.
I think he keeps his eyes on the mist and kind of flies backwards and looks around to try to get some perspective on it as he's flying back from it. He makes a beeline straight back for Diamondback, and
you see no edge to it, and it goes all the way up to the lower canopy. And you can't see through the canopy from where you are, but it goes up to it.
I think he's going to fly up. If he's got 7 minutes left, he's going to fly upwards and see if he can get through the canopy. And he's not going to go just shooting way up above the canopy, just lest there be anything flying around up there that could notice him. Kind of like poke up above it by a few feet and look and see how high.
Yeah, you emerge through the leaves of the canopy, and here, an area you're comfortable with. It looks really different, right? The canopy almost appears to be these hills of trees, right? And unlike below, where there's trees blocking you, you can see great distances from above the canopy. Not much detail, no features to speak of, but great distances. The wall of mist extends as far as you can see to the left and right, and as far as you can tell, all the way up to the upper canopy. It does seem to have a slight arc away from you.
Okay.
As though it's almost leaning back, but you can't tell that from up close.
Inkatink has and it causes his bowels to clench, and it feels like ice running through him. And he, in a moment of impulse, steals himself and shoots. And I'm not sure that he's ever before, because he's been warned so many times about how just incredibly dangerous it is to do this. But he flies upwards towards the upper in a hope that he might actually peek out above. And
You fly upward, and how far are you willing to go up? How long are you willing to fly? You've been about 4 minutes, so you've got 6 minutes of up.
yeah,
If you were to just stop and be
looking up at it, does it look like it would take him more than 6 minutes to break through up above?
you can see no distinct, you've never seen anything distinct above except the dappled colors of the upper canopy. You have no idea how far it is.
All right, I think he kind of flies upwards for like a minute, and then like just comes to his senses and loses his nerve, and then plummets back down to the earth and makes a beeline straight back to Diamondback. And when he gets
So
there, go ahead. Yeah.
You rocket straight up, just with your eyes keenly on the part above you. After you've flown about a minute, you look down, and the canopy below is now almost blurry just from distance, right? As far as you can tell, you've made no progress to the upper canopy.
Yeah. And I think he feels utterly and completely just, he has no reference. So I think he probably experiences a moment of just existential panic that he's never
Vertigo.
really felt before. He loves to fly, and flying is supposed to feel free, but he realizes that he's in a terrifying place between everything that he knows, and he realizes this is just foolishness. So he plummets back down to the earth, and when he gets back down, makes a beeline back towards Diamondback. At least he's got the flat of this thing to serve as a kind of point of orthogonality to go away from.
Yeah.
So he flies back towards Diamondback, and when he gets there, he uses illusion components and just shows him what he saw to try to convey the sense of what he's experienced. And then he collapses and just starts kind of like preening his feathers and like white, just trying to breathe and catch himself.
Fascinating. A wall of mist.
Nods his
Clearly
head.
a thing of great arcane power. We should investigate tomorrow. But before then, we should rest up, make a camp.
In the interest of time, you make camp, and the night goes by smoothly. There's no issue with that. As a matter of fact, you don't see many creatures here at all near where you are. It's daytime. What do you want to do?
I think they, eat some food, clean up, try to erase any signs of their presence here. And Inkatink looks at him with a lot of grit and resolve in his eye, and kind of gives him a "you ready" kind of shrug.
Let's go.
They trudge off towards the wall of mist.
You find yourself, you've walked, and as before, it's morning. It's as bright as it gets here, which is not super bright, but nothing unusual about this time of day, except you approach this wall, and when you're fairly close to it, you can see it distinctly. It is clearly the mist. It's swirling. It is just utterly black. You can still hear those same kinds of sounds from within. Animals making these baleful moans and howls, and just lots of them from various places. And, who knows how far.
Inkatink picks up a stone from the ground and throws it at.
You throw it in, and almost immediately it is out of sight. It touches that wall. You can see it for just a brief moment as it passes through, and it's gone. You hear a rock tumble on the ground.
He turns his head and looks at Diamondback, holds out his hand for Diamondback to take his hand.
Diamondback's like, I think maybe we'll send a skeleton in first.
Yeah, Inkatink is like, oh yeah, clever, good, smart. He taps his beak, smart.
What's your ability to control the skeleton remotely, Diamondback?
It's not
What is
great.
that?
It does exist. I do have the ability to control them. It takes me a bonus action to mentally command any of these creatures I made if the creature is within 60 feet of me. I decide what action it's going to take and where it will move during its next turn. Or I can issue general commands such as to guard a particular chamber or corridor.
Is this animate dead?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to command it to walk into the mist?
Yeah, I want to command it to. This is one of my orc skeletons, and it's going to walk into the mist. It's got a weapon, and if it gets attacked, it will probably respond.
Yeah,
and it's going to. I want it to just walk like, let's say 20 feet in, and then turn around and come back, and we'll see what's happened to it.
Okay. The skeleton starts walking at its pace. It's not sprinting or anything. It's just walking at a skeletal pace, and breaches the surface of this wall. You see it, as before, kind of fades in only a few inches of distance. It is gone. It goes the approximate amount of time you think it would take it to go 20 feet. And then you wait about twice that time. And you wait that time again. You hear an animal screech, and what sounds like it making some sounds. It sounds like maybe a monkey or something, a gorilla, type of sounds. And then you hear it in its death throes as it appears to have been.
Wait, did we hear the monkey's death throes?
Yeah.
It seems as though my skeleton may have encountered a monkey.
I guess he looks at him and says, "Another?"
How long has it been and it hasn't come back?
It's been a couple of minutes now. It should have, if it went in 20 feet and turned around and came back.
Oh, it should have come back a long time ago.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It does seem like there was some kind of fight in there.
Inkatink just shakes his head, clenches his fist, and just walks forward and sticks his head in. Just his head.
You look at, or you push your head through the mist. It is utter blackness.
Yeah, he pulls back and looks at Diamondback as like, points at his eyes, nothing.
It's up to you, friend. I'll follow you in. You helped me when it was terrifying. I'll go with you if you want to go.
You think didn't see terrifying?
Wait, was Inkatink with me underground when we saw the Lich? No. That wasn't even Inkatink. Scratch that. I don't say that. You've always helped me, friend.
You hear a little Belvar. There's a little Belvari standing on your shoulder.
That's right.
Yeah.
With a halo.
So you say what instead?
Really help you.
You've always helped me, friend, and I'll go with you into this if it's what you want.
He pulls out some firebolt cantrips and nods and points to the Lich phylactery and says,
"No, wait.
There's no Lich phylactery here.
You didn't bring it?
You haven't seen me with it for days.
Oh, okay. All right.
I can still cast my spells, though.
Yeah, he points at the component pouch and you
It's my
see him
staff that I'm using.
Yeah, you see him slit his eyes and nod his head, and he turns and he squares his chest and he marches into the mist.
Diamondback follows.
Into the mist. Did anybody know where you were going?
Belvari probably forgot if he knew.
Did you tell anybody? No.
I mean, yeah, they would know that we were following, that we were going to get Josh's or Inkatink's focus. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and they probably would have seen us head off in the direction that we were going. So they would have a very general idea.
Okay. You've traveled a day. You walk into the utter blackness of this wall. And it is indeed black. Narrate for me. I just want to hear those first few steps. I want to understand what your mindset is as you're going in. When you have traveled, by the time the middle of your body is entering the mist, you can see absolutely nothing. Like nothing.
I think Inkatink is thinking to him, he starts counting down from 10, and he's got a hand backwards, and he's either holding on to, the sash of Diamondback's pants, or he's holding his hand or something so they don't get separated. And he starts walking forward, counting down from 10. And Inkatink is thinking to himself, if they get down to 1 and he still can't see anything, he's just going to turn around and run. He's just hoping that this is just a wall of darkness and not a sphere of darkness. Because if it's a sphere of darkness, what can be done, right? They can't do anything in complete and utter black for an extended period of time, right? So they walk forward for 10 seconds, and if the darkness doesn't abate for 10 seconds, he's gonna squeeze Inkatink's Diamondback's hand and turn and try to run straight back out the way they came.
I'll go with him.
You walk for what you believe to be 10 seconds. You count 10 steps or whatever, however you're counting that. There is nothing except the sound of animals and other creatures.
I think he casts light, the cantrip light.
You do so. There is the faintest, if you hold it right up to your eyeball.
Yeah.
The faintest, dimmest thing. You can't see your hand if you move it more than an inch away from your face.
I think Inkatink says, abandon, and they turn and run straight back out. And they get out, and he's obviously really angry.
Roll me a d20, both of you.
Die.
That's going to be a 1. Third time I've rolled a 1 with this D20.
Maybe you should grind that dice up and die up and
cross out the 1 and draw a 20, and cross out the 20 and draw a 1.
Right. Josh?
12.
Okay. You turn around and bolt, and a good 20 seconds later, you're in utter blackness. You hope you've got the right direction.
He calls out. He freezes and calls out to He calls out to Diamondback.
Oh, we're right next to each other. We've been like holding hands.
Okay.
Holding a rope or something.
All right.
Yeah.
In that case, I think so I've run in a direction and it's the wrong one. So I think he grabs Diamondback and they begin flying in an outward spiral for the next 10
You can't
minutes.
fly anymore. You don't have any flight.
That was yesterday.
Oh, that's fair.
We spent the night.
Yeah, that was yesterday. So he grabs
So
Diamondback and begins flying in an expanding spiral outwards, larger
What does
and larger.
grabs Diamondback mean?
He's already holding Diamondback, so he kind of he flies up and
Okay.
he
So like in your claws.
yeah, he grabs Diamondback with his feet like he's done before. And
I
they
think
begin
Diamondback. I think Diamondback doesn't let you take off. I think Diamondback says, "No, friend."
He grabs Diamondback's hand and he starts drawing a spiral on Diamondback's
Nobody
hand.
can see anything. You mean he can feel it?
Yeah.
You're gonna run into something.
So Diamondback.
Can I cast a
says-
light cantrip and get down on the ground and try to find my tracks doing that?
There's not enough light.
Okay.
We can't see things even 2 inches in front of our faces.
Okay.
And even what you could see when you put your hand right on it, you couldn't see any detail. You saw the faintest bit of light.
Yeah, he gets back up and he grabs Diamondback's hand and he draws once again this outward spiral getting larger.
Diamondback doesn't want to leave behind his undead minions. Inkatink can't carry any.
I can only carry you.
Diamondback. So Diamondback will continue walking.
Which way?
He has no idea, apparently.
In
Roll
that
me a
case,
D20. I think we lost Jared.
It is 10.
It is 10.
4.
Diamondback, you walk.
Inkatink's holding on to him. I'm not letting go.
Y'all are together walking in the darkness.
And
where
if
we're gonna
something
end this
scary
episode.
happens, Diamondback is 100% ready to just cast invisibility in an instant.
That's where we're going to end this episode.
I don't feel like I made good choices.
Friend, the only way is further in. The only way is further in.
Episode's over.
Thank you for listening. You can get more details about the world and the story we're telling at thestarfallcollective.com.